Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder, and I'm going to be bringing to you a Squadron Heavy Double Quasar list. Figured I would try and do a Squadron build. I haven't done one in a while. I haven't done any Armada builds in a while, and I feel like it's time to do another build. So we're going to talk about the build, the objectives, all of that stuff. Also want to remind you guys, if you didn't already know, I'm running a huge new giveaway right now. I'm giving away the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars Celebration Chicago exclusive from Hasbro, the Star Wars Black Series. The 6-inch figures, they were Celebration exclusive. I'm giving those both away to one lucky subscriber. All you have to do is become a subscriber, or if you're already one, you're halfway there. And then make sure you leave a comment on this or one of my videos, and that's going to run all the way until the end of May. So make sure you enter to win that giveaway as well. So, with that being said, I'm going to jump into Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder here. This has also been updated quite a bit since the last time I have done an Armada build. I haven't done one of these in a little bit. But one of the things that I particularly like about it before I jump into the build itself is that you can, if you add like a Super Star Destroyer, for example, you can click this button if it is been reduced to half hull. This will help you determine points at the end of a match. So if you have this open and you're counting up points of everything destroyed, you can click this little button right here. Now I'm not doing a Star Destroyer build, however, though, so let's just stay going with the actual, there we go, get out of here. We don't want that thing in there. All right. Well, we kind of do, but no, can't do that yet. So, so I said I wanted to do a double Quasar build. So let's go ahead and add. Now, in this case, a lot of times I like to run the Quasar Fire 2 because of the red anti-squadron die and the different capabilities that you can put in there with somebody like Callus or other things that can trigger off of every squadron that you're attacking. I really like that, but this time I'm going to go for points, and I was thinking about something, like the Quasar is a medium ship, and it's pretty fast, and it's got a decent amount of hull, and so it's not the toughest ship out there, but the points, man, for 54 points, it's not half bad. If a small ship had that kind of hull with a brace, and like look at like a CR90, for example. It's for that points. It's not half bad what you're getting. I like some of the things that are some of the options and I started thinking about different options for a Quasar, and I said, well, instead of trying to come up with different out of the box options, let me do a build just running them as pure carriers. And so yeah, I'm gonna actually add 2 of these. I'm gonna have 2 Quasar Fire 2s. Because they're really cheap, and I can fit a whole lot of squadrons in there. Now, before I upgrade them all, let's go ahead and I'm going to go kind of simple with the squadrons. I'm not going to go overly complex, but I'm going to add a lot of your basic TIE fighters. I figure, you know what? If you've got the core set, you've got a bunch of TIE fighters. We're gonna go kind of heavy. I don't know. We want 10, maybe 12, maybe 12, and I'm going to add Dengar, so we have a little bit of protection, and then we're at add Howl Runner to make all those TIE fighters that much more dangerous. So now Howl Runner is going to mean, other squadrons with Swarm, you get to add a blue die to their attack pool, and that's going to include Dengar as well. So that's nice. Her and Dengar are both going to have the evade and the brace there, so they're going to be able to stay alive a little bit. Everybody's going to have counter here, well, except for Dengar, obviously. But yes, so I really like a lot of what we're seeing here. Of course, Dengar gets the black die on ships too. That's always nice. But we've got 132 points of squadrons right here. So we're pretty maxed out with 14 squadrons. It's a whopper of a squadron force right here. An absolute whopper with emphasis on the H. It's a whopper because the ties look like H's. So that's why you can call it the whopper of a... Oh my gosh, we're going to do it. We're going to name it. I'm going to name it Whopper. Wait. WHOPPER build. All right, so it's a Whopper build with a capital H. So now we're gonna go to the first. We're gonna do I think obviously for our commander, it's one of the things we got to pick. I'm definitely gonna go with Sloane. I'll put her on one of the Quasars. I think that's something you kind of just have to have, and she's gonna stay a little farther in the back. And then for our other Quasar, this one might be a little bit farther forward. Now here's something interesting too. I'm gonna put Darth Vader boarding team on here. One of the reasons being is you never know when he's going to be really useful. Like you're going to have like an admonition that came up at you and you happen to be distance 1 from it or something like that. Like, being able to take out, just certain key cards that are absolutely critical. This can also be really useful against something like, a Super Star Destroyer where they're going to have a lot of really important cards. Oh, take out gunnery teams off of a Superstar Destroyer, please. Things like that. You never know when you're going to have those opportunities. So it's really represents a great. I think the inclusion of Superstar Destroyers are going to make the Darth Vader boarding team even better. So with that in mind, I really like that option. So we're doing our forward one first now. Our forward one, I'm going to give him Pursuant as well, in case plans don't go according to plan and I can't trigger the Darth Vader when I need to. Let's throw Pursuant in here so I can always get that Squadron dial if I absolutely need to. But I'm going to still plan to try to have the token to trigger Vader, but maybe rage tokens will happen. Maybe something will happen to thwart my plans just a little bit. And if that happens, I will have Pursuant there as a backup. Plus, Pursuant is just really good to have in general. Now, since we are kind of operate this as a carrier, I'm going to put Chirano, which is going to let my squadrons move even if they're engaged. Now, he's a backup to Dengar. Also, Dengar is not going to be able to hit all of my ties. Let's just face it, he's not. So Chirano, considering I'm hitting so many squadrons, I think that's going to work. Now, if we've got points left, I can come back and I can add things like expanded hangar bay, which would be really good for something like this, because Chirano gets even more squadrons that way, so that's always nice. Now for our top Quasar, I want to add a little bit of survivability here. I'm going to put Brunson on the Quasar. Give this one, they'll be farther back, but I don't want to lose Sloan. I definitely don't want to lose Sloan, and so that's kind of one of the reasons that Brunson's there. Also, for titles, I'm going to give this one Stronghold. Well, friendly squadron with swarm distance 1 to 2 is defending. We'll treat that attack as obstructed. That's going to also be very, very defensive for me, because that means I can keep a nice screen very, very densely populated around my my flagship here. They're all going to have that obstructed shot. So any enemy ships coming in trying to do, let me flak all of your squadrons, no problem. They're all obstructed. So good luck with that. So I think that's going to be intensely huge. And for those aces that come in there and want to try to one-shot Hal Runner or whatever, removing a die is just crucial, and it's really going to help keep those TIE squadrons alive. One of my biggest weaknesses here is somebody like Maul or Mythil to come in and jump in, but with 3 health each, they can take one damage each when Maul or Mythil comes in, because there's a pretty good chance the TIE Fighter is going to be one-shotted anyway, so I don't care if Maul or Mythil does 1 or 2 damage to like 5 of my TIE Fighters at a time. He's not going to do 2 damage to all of them at a time, but you get my point. Is I'm trying to obstruct that primary attack to potentially give them that extra survivability. So it could work. I think Stronghold is just good here since everybody's got swarm and they're going to be all over the place. So I am digging that. We've got some options that we can put on here. Flight controllers, I think, is probably one of the best ones. We want flight controllers on there, and we can boost the comms as well. So now that's going to give all my guys an extra die. Again, this is really just for ace hunting. We have to clear out the enemy squadrons first, and then we can go after the ships. Sloan is going to help us with that. Hal Runner is going to help us with that, and flight controllers is really going to help us with that. So we've got a lot of anti-squadron firepower this way, plus our rerolls with swarm. And then if they attack us back, Dengar is going to give us counter attacks with Hal Runner, going to add an extra die. We've got that. We're going to be able to get a reroll on those counterattacks with Swarm. Amazing stuff. And the attack coming to us, maybe it'll be obstructed because maybe we'll be close enough to Stronghold. But then when we attack back, it won't be obstructed because that's a separate attack. So just really cool combos and tech that's going on so far with what I have. And I'm only at 299 points. So now I need deployment and or ship activation advantage because that's going to be important. So I am going to cheese it up a little bit with 2 Gazantes. 2 cheesy Gazantes. One is going to have comms nets. We can pass some tokens, kind of help set up that Vader, or just be the multi-purpose, or extra squadron activations, or some anti-squadron, or some blockers, or just stalling. Or maybe I want to deploy 1 Gazante off in one corner of the map, all my squadrons off of him or her, and then my main force somewhere else. And kind of do the lifeboat tech. That's a little cheesy, but it's worth exploring. I don't really do a whole lot of cheese nowadays, but it's something that you could consider. It's just nice having the options. And for the other one, I'll just give them Hondo. We'll put Hondo on there, and that's actually, you know what? We'll put Hondo on the same one. because it's going to factor into objectives a little more. So we're going to have one Gazanti that's got absolutely nothing on it. And that's going to be important because that's going to matter when we get down into objectives. Now, for our last ship, we're going to do a Raider. The Raiders are nice. Now we could go with Raider 2, but I don't think I'm going to need to wear down the shields. I think the TIEs are going to be wearing down the shields really, really well. So I'm going to go for a Raider 1. You know, I think I'm just going to go for external racks. I don't think I'll get too many shots with it. But in case I do, just in case I do, I'm going to put Ordnance Experts on there. And that's going to take us exactly to 400 points. Now, if you want an initiative bid, there's a couple of options here. You can drop a couple of things. You know, you could drop Hondo. You could drop CommsNet. It's not absolutely needed. You could drop Darth Vader. You could drop maybe boosted comms, although I really like that here, considering, you know, we're going to want to keep this Quasar a little bit further back. Really, really like boosted comms on there, so I wouldn't drop that. You could drop Admiral Chirano, considering you do have Dengar. You could also do that. But I think with the amount of squadrons, having both, you're going to actually get a pretty good amount of value out of both. And in case you get unlucky and lose Dengar early, or lose this one Quasar early, you still have something else. So you have double coverage on making sure that your squadrons actually get to do what they want to do. So, you know, I like this as a heavy squadron build. This would probably take a long time to play, though. So, you know, like that's one of those things with like micromanaging exactly where you're putting your squadrons can make a game like this is a build that might go long. So let's look at objectives at this point. Now, I talked about objectives earlier, why the Naked Gazanti was going to be important. Because, you know, we could do something like Most Wanted. I'm going to be able to, if I'm second player, which at 400 points I very well may be, and of course, if I'm not second player, I don't mind at all being first player because with 5 activations, I have a realistic shot of being last in, first out. That's very possible. And I'd be really good double tapping with, you know, lots and lots of TIE fighters. I have no problem with that. But in the event I'm second player, I'm going to be able to choose one of their big ships and then my smallest Gazanti. And, hey, I'm going to get an extra die when I'm attacking. Of course, that's not going to apply to squadrons. But yeah, my Quasars will be able to roll an extra die. And they're going to be shooting, you know, eventually. So will my Gazantis, for that matter. And, of course, that Raider will as well. So Most Wanted, definitely a good option here. You know, Most Wanted is always good when you have the potential for a lot of firepower to concentrate in one place. And also, I like it when you have a lot of ships or when you have one naked flotilla. I really like Most Wanted for those as well. Now, for our yellows, we have a couple. I mean, I'm a big fan of a lot of these, but in this case, I think Fighter Ambush is going to work pretty well. And I think it's going to be partially a double-edged sword because of the fact that, you know, you're not able to use your squadrons to postpone deployment. And that's kind of one of the other reasons I wanted to have at least 5 deployments here so that I could, you know, have a halfway decent starting point. So before deploying fleets, the second player sets aside all of his squadrons. His or her, it should be. All right. After deploying fleets, the second player deploys all of their squadrons. Each squadrons can be placed as normal or at distance 1 of an obstacle, but all squadrons must be placed beyond distance 5 of that player's edge. And then, but the special rule is key here. After a squadron performs an attack against a ship, if the defender was dealt at least 1 damage card, the squadron's owner gains a victory token. Now, I think we could probably beat most squadron builds that are out there. I think we can overwhelm them. And so this would perform really, really well against most. This would be a really good objective against most builds. Clear winner, overwhelming advantage against a squadron-less build. That's for sure, especially with Sloan out there. But on top of that, you know, really we do really well against a medium squadron build too. Now, if we're up against a similar squadron-heavy build, especially one that's designed deliberately to be anti-squadron, that's when this one might not really be as beneficial to us because then, of course, our opponent is going to really be able to out-deploy us, and we may just end up having to put our squadrons a little bit closer to home, but we can still kind of get them out of out of the deployment area and get them a little closer to like midfield and still be able to, you know, have some choices. But I do like this one, especially because of that special rule victory condition. I think against another Sloan list, that one would be dangerous, but I think most objectives are dangerous if you're facing the exact same type of list. And now on to our blue. The winner here is definitely going to be superior positions. For one, it makes the first player have to deploy everything first, so it gives me full setup advantage. But also, the special rule here is if you're attacking the rear of a ship and you get at least 1 damage, just 1 damage. This one can go to shields. The owner gains a victory token. So this one's even better than fighter ambush. Most of the time, but fighter ambush is going to be superior, vastly superior against somebody who doesn't have any squadrons. So superior positions is very, very similar to fighter ambush in this case. So I think reasonably, a lot of opponents may actually go for most wanted and hope that they can just suffer through the damage and maybe be able to slow down your tremendous squadron onslaught long enough to to blow up your carriers. And so that would be a thing, and maybe that's one of those times where you would kind of fly your Quasars or at least your Sloan Quasar away and just say no, she's gonna be a lifeboat, and I'll just let the squadrons activate on their own or with the help of the Gazantes. That may be something that you do. Come chase me then. You could, and you have enough squadrons. You could even keep a couple with you for defense in case they send a CR-90 or something like that after you. So you definitely have a lot of options in a build like this. I think it's fun, and it's the Whopper build. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Definitely stay tuned. I expect a lot of Armada news in the next month or two. We got May the 4th coming up, so there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff like that. And some community talk coming to you very, very soon. So stay tuned for that as well. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.